Morning.
Morning. Welcome back to Dude You Good.
Morning, Angle. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, October, let's just say, was a very, 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 very busy / crazy / just month.
Yeah, we had a bit of a time. We were a busy time. We were busy being millennials.
Yeah.
But in that time, that busy time that we both had, you went somewhere.
Did.
By the way, I'm Luke.
Oh yeah.
That's Shannon.
I'm Shannon, in case you didn't know.
We are friends and we talk about stuff on this caffeine-addled podcast.
Yes. But, so, I went with my fiancé for our 11 year
11 year
anniversary.
That's crazy.
I know. How wild is that? So, we went to York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love York. Used to go loads as a child.
Adore York. Such a pretty city. Very, very old city. A lot of history in York. A lot of Vikings and a lot of people were settled in that city.
Yes.
And honestly, it was just such a lovely weekend. I didn't want to come home.
York is really nice. York is very cobblestoney.
It is very cobblestoney. Yeah. If you have crutches or a wheelchair, it's not going to be very fun for you.
Yes, that is true.
But it's beautiful.
It is a really pretty place.
Obviously, it was heavily inspired Diagon Alley, the Shambles, heavily inspired Diagon Alley from Harry Potter.
Oh.
So a lot of touristy Harry Potter shops on the Shambles, which is fun, but the Shambles is such a narrow street.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible because people in York, for some reason, don't know how to walk.
Yeah.
We discovered they just don't know how to walk. They'll just walk around and then they'll just stand in the middle of a very narrow street, just chatting and taking pictures. And it's like, can you please? You are standing where once blood and poop and bile was just thrown into the street.
Yeah, that people do like to wander and just take up a lot of space. If I remember correctly, the last time I was in York, it was I think it was York. I was with like my parents, my like uncle, aunt, and my brother Jordan, fellow podcaster and Kevin, a reminder. And I remember it's such a weird memory to have. I remember I really used to like cheese straws.
Okay, no, that's
when I was younger,
like a pastry cheese, like yes,
yeah, which is essentially just a pastry with cheese.
Yeah, but crispy.
So I used to really like them, and this is going back so long because it was when I ate cheese.
Yeah,
and wasn't a vegan.
It wasn't a vegan.
And I remember we went to like not Pound Bakery or Greg's, but like a bakery that sold them. Yeah. And they kept saying like, "Oh, we're not ready yet. We've got some in the oven, so come back in a bit." And I kept like my whole family's at this cafe, and I'd be like, "I'll go check on the cheese straws." And I went back, and they were like, "Not yet." To the point where I went back so many times because I was like, "I need these 2 bags of cheese straws." They started to recognize me.
They recognize.
I only went back 4 times, but I think because I went back in such quick succession to ask about these cheese straws.
For these cheese straws.
And they were like, when I finally went back, they were like, "They're ready."
They're ready.
And I was like, "Amazing, 2 bags, please."
You don't even need to ask.
Yeah.
Let's guess what you want. You want some cheese straws.
I was like, "Can you put some to the side in case I miss it?" And then I got to my family. I was like, "I've got the cheese straws." But yeah, it's such a random thing. Like I also remember walking down the lovely streets and seeing the old buildings and all that stuff. But I've been to York loads of times as a child, so it's kind of like the cheese straws were it.
The cheese straws were the one. You see, York is beautiful. I will say, like the architecture of York for me as a little Gothic nerd, I will say they got aesthetic.
They got the vibe.
Like York Minster, my God, beautiful building. Could take pictures of that all day, every day. Could literally look at that building for hours. So on the Friday when we got there, it was very, very rainy. We went into this place called, let me find it. It was a little place we found that was like a photo illusion place. You know, where you go in and you have like silly photos taken.
Oh, yes.
Like these.
Ah, yes.
Yes. It was called The Puzzling World of Professor Kettering.
Ooh.
A lot of fun. Little jaunt around, little photo illusions and stuff. And it was just a good little laugh, little indoor thing. Wasn't much. A reasonable price for something that kept you dry and warm for about 2 hours. It didn't take us long. We could have gone through it quicker, but I think the people that were doing it, who 100% play for the role, loved them, ate the scenery up, because obviously they were like, "You are Professor, you've got to go find Professor Kettering and he's gone missing in his time machine." And it was like, we love you, you great people. That. But because I think they were so used to tiny families,
okay,
they saw us too and realised we could have a laugh.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot longer in there than I think we should have, but it was definitely a good time, definitely worth a go. The other thing we did on the Friday, because obviously, like I said, it was very, very rainy. We thought we were going to have nothing but a weekend of rain, but thankfully we didn't have rain on the Saturday. But after getting absolutely drenched on the Friday. We walked to the station and we got the ghost bus. Now, that was fun. That was fun.
Was the bus itself a ghost?
The bus itself was not a ghost, but the bus itself was a bus that used to shuttle bodies and mourners to the different places. It was part of a series of a bus fleet that was made to basically ferry bodies and mourners.
That's cool.
Yes. So that was fun. We saw it pulling up. We were like, is it going to turn up on time? The bus was running late. There was traffic outside the station, so of course the bus was late. Even ghost bus have to do traffic.
Yeah.
We were let on. The conductor, incredible man, very entertaining, very funny. I don't know how he didn't fall off the back of that bus, because obviously it was an open back bus, you know, like the old school.
Yes.
Where you go up and there's the stairs and he stands there. He was there, had his proper hat on, all garbed up. We had our driver, who was called Bob. Bob learned to drive. Like how you were going around that tiny roundabout. We went round a tiny roundabout twice because he missed the turning. Don't know if he said it was Bob's first roundabout. I don't know if it was his first roundabout or if he was just pulling our leg. But Bob, you got to learn to drive a bit better, mate. So
Shannon says as someone that cannot drive.
As someone that cannot drive. Well, let's put it this way. Halfway through round the ghost tour. So you get on the ghost bus, you get welcomed, you're going upstairs, you're going downstairs, whatever. So you go upstairs, there's curtains, there's a telly, there's little lights and things.
Ooh.
And you sit and they're playing music and it's all very haunty, ooh, spooky wooky. The bus drives around the city of York, stopping at certain stops and telling you little bits of history about, you know, Dick Turpin, because he's buried in York, like the little devil doors that are on the churches where the devil couldn't escape and all this kind of thing. Halfway round our nice trip of York, Bob's driving made someone have to get off the bus.
Did they get a little car
They
sick?
got sick.
Oh
They
my
got
gosh.
off the bus and they threw up and they had to stay off the bus and we had to leave them there. And I don't know where we left them because it was dark outside.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it could have been anywhere. All I know is we weren't in the centre and they had to leave because Bob's driving had made them feel a bit too motion sick.
That is unfortunate. You are going to have to explain devil doors to me.
Devil doors. So basically, if you look at
Never
certain...
heard of that.
In an old church, you would occasionally see sometimes a very small door, usually towards the end of the church where the altar would be. So the door was there for when baptisms and christenings happen. It was where the devil could then escape from the church and be out of the church, essentially.
Why was the devil in the church?
Because the devil was in the person that was being reborn, baptised, christened. Does that make sense? So if you have the devil door...
So then when someone's christened, the devil goes...
the devil has to leave.
I thought that
that's
the
how
devil
they escape.
couldn't go in a church.
But it has to escape the church.
Oh.
And that's the door that they'd use for the devils to escape.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Never heard of that.
You can still see them on some very, very old churches. Obviously, it's not something that's believed anymore. This is like an old thing. But some of them, you can still see them because there's just little doors in little churches. It depends on the age of the church and what kind of church it is as well, because obviously Catholicism would be the one that it would be the main one. That was interesting. Yeah. We got to go on the shortest street.
Oh.
On the bus, literally between a lamppost and a bin. And that's a street.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, literally 10 foot.
Wow.
The shortest street in the UK.
I don't think you need class as a street at that
no,
point.
But it is classed as a street. And then obviously on the bus, we went and had a little nosy. We could see Dick Turpin's grave.
Yeah.
Because obviously Dick Turpin is buried in York because that's where he was found and killed. Because crime.
Because of his crime. Dick Turpin was, for those who don't know,
a highwayman. The dandy, the original not so dandy highwayman. But yeah, he robbed a lot of horses, hurt a lot of people, got caught out for it purely because of a letter that he sent in the post. So basically he'd escaped to York, was hiding out as someone else, sent a letter to, I think it was his brother, further down south. The postmaster, however, happened to be once Dick Turpin's old teacher.
Oh.
Recognised the writing as Dick Turpin's handwriting, and then he got found.
Imagine having so notable handwriting.
Well, this is back in the day,
this is back in the day when not many people wrote.
Yes.
But also this was back in the day where everyone wrote in a very similar manner because everyone was taught to write so properly.
Yes.
Whereas now, I'd say
Everyone
there is
writes
differences
anywhere.
between handwriting.
Yes. But that's how he got caught. And then his body, I believe, was kept in one of the pubs towards the top north gate of the wall. Because York, in case you didn't know, people, is a walled city.
Yep.
So there is a city within the walls. There's a whole wall, ancient wall that goes all the way around, which you can walk on.
You can.
You can take a little trip of the wall. But Dick Turpin's body was kept in a pub for viewing after he was murdered. Well, not murdered, executed.
Now, I know you said he robbed horses, and I know what you mean, being like he stole horses. However, in my head, I am picturing him holding a horse to gunpoint, saying, give me all you got. It's like, I've only got oats. So give me all the oats you've got.
I've only got...
Let me see what's in those saddlebags.
Where was the pub? I'm trying to just quickly find... The Blue Boar, I think.
Ah.
Yeah, the Blue Boar at York states that the body of Dick Turpin was kept in the cellar of the pub overnight after his execution.
Oh, it wasn't kept in there for like a long amount of time on display?
No. Tradition states that the body of Dick Turpin was kept in the cellar of the pub overnight after his execution, and that the landlord of the pub allowed patrons to see the body for a small fee. An additional tradition claims that Turpin's ghost haunts the pub.
Ah.
And that's the Blue Boar at York. But yeah, so the Ghost Bus was very, very fun. 100% would recommend, especially if you do want to do a ghost walk, because obviously York is inundated with ghost walks. On the second night, which we'll get to later, but we were just at pubs and we kept seeing so many walks just going on. There was a guy full on dressed out in garb, like a witch's garb going on. It was great to see, but the ghost walks are everywhere. If you want something that's a bit drier, a little bit easier, if maybe you can't walk on the cobbles, definitely recommend the Ghost Bus. It's not that much and it's definitely worth the money, and the acting that the conductor and Bob, bless him, the driver, put in, it's worth it. 100% recommend the Ghost Bus.
Is it kind of like a dinner bus as well?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not like a dinner bus. There are very, very fancy buses like that, but this was just a, let's go, let's have some haunts, let's have some spookums. It was a good vibe, and obviously we had to exercise a ghost.
Oh, but of course.
But well, I'll leave that. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it for anyone that wants to go.
No, anyone that wants to go. And then the second day, we did everything. We went to the Minister, decided, it's 20 quid, we're not going in there. So we went to the Contemporary Art Gallery in York.
Cool.
Which was very, very cool. I had a great time. Obviously, being a artiste with a degree, I quite like the art. At that time, they did have a very cool exhibition which was about kind of identity and, I can't remember the name of the prize, but cultural identity, person identity, like everything. There was some very interesting art pieces. There was a film called Dance Macabre by Toby Anabolu. So Dance Macabre explores spirituality, mental health, and the human psyche through Judean psychology and West African ethnic group cosmology and dance. It combines poetry, music, archival video, and movement to represent the conscious and unconscious mind. It was very, very interesting, a very, very good thing, and it was the main prize winner of that award. So we watched that. And then I got to go through Squid Soup.
Is that literal soup of squids?
No, so amazing room. You walked in and it was all these LED separate string lights that were all attached together. We then had to confirm that yes, you can go through it because you can walk through it. I wasn't sure if it was actually an interactive
if it was like just a display.
Or if it was just a display, but no, you can walk through it, and as you walk through it, all the lights and the sounds and everything kind of move with you, and it's kind of like an interactive walkthrough experience, which was very, very good. It was by Squid Soup, called Submergence. And Squid Soup is an artist collective who make immersive digital installations that blend light, sound, and space. This artwork, Submergence, features 6,144 individually suspended LEDs.
Whoa.
And it was longlisted for the Aesthetica Art Prize in 2015.
That's cool.
Yeah. Being exhibited in 6 continents across more than 100 locations. But it was beautiful. The gallery was beautiful. Upstairs was more ceramic work and older work. So obviously there was this big massive automaton clock that I remember sending you pictures of, which was insane. The detail in these pieces, a lot of Grayson Perry work, which I really, really like. I don't know if you know the artist Grayson Perry.
Not off the top of my head.
So Grayson Perry works with ceramics, but he kind of works with ceramics in a way that's very traditional, but very not.
Ceramics, but then you look closer and it's a bit crude.
You see this Alice giving birth to a is that a Sasquatch maybe? That's what I thought. But yeah, so a lot of Grayson Perry pots. Absolutely love Grayson Perry. Like, to be fair, his art is something that I've always really enjoyed because it is that kind of juxtaposition of traditional and not traditional, but
it's one of those ones that's like it's really pretty from a distance, and then as you look closer, you see.
Yes, I mean, look, that's a penis tree.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. But it was funny because obviously, being fiancé, over the years, he's learned a lot about art, and I think I've helped him learn how to look at things in a certain way. From a distance, he was like, that's cool. And then as he got closer and I was pointing things out to him, he was like, yeah, that is actually really cool. So that was really fun to like experience with him, to be fair. And then we went to the Jorvik Viking Museum.
Yes, a place I went many times as a child and dragged my mum many times.
I've dragged so many people. There is me with some Vikings.
Yeah.
That's Ivar. I became his friend. And then basically the Viking Museum goes through the whole history of what they found in the shopping district. In the 70s, they were doing renovations to build a new shopping district. In that time, the archaeologists actually found essentially a whole street. Coppergate was the name of the shopping centre that they were building at the time, and then they found all these streets and all these roads and all these houses. Like, archaeologically, you could stand on them. They have glass over the moulds of what they'd found. The interesting thing as well was the fact that they found basement walls, and for the first time they understood that Vikings were building on different levels as well. The other great thing about the Jorvik Viking Museum is the ride.
Yeah.
There's a ride at the Jorvik Viking Museum. You go back in time to the village that was that used to be at Coppergate Shopping Centre. So they've recreated what they believe they found, the archaeologists have found, and it's so interesting.
It's so good.
So good. And now, so it's changed since I was little, because before when I was little, it was just a little ride. You sat on the ride, you went through the ride. It has these big-ass Beastie Boys speakers that go behind your head with a little screen that gives you extra little
There's
information.
A screen now?
Yeah, so it gives you, shows you, this is the pot we found. If you look to your left, that's what we believe it looked like before. And it's like, wow. And there's this whole guy giving you commentary as you go through the village.
Yes, I remember that bit.
About what they see and what they found. Another really interesting thing about the Dark Ride is the fact that there were a couple of animatronics, because they are all animatronics. They're like models of people moving around doing their things. There's a couple of cats wailing around, because obviously the Vikings love cats. But a couple of the animatronics, there's one that there was a old lady, in her 40s to 50s, obviously back then that was an old lady,
yeah,
with a crutch. The model of this Viking was actually based off one of the bodies that they found in Coppergate. So they've recreated what they believed that woman actually looked like from her skeleton and put her in the Dark Ride, which I think is really cool.
That is crazy to me. That woman was just living her life. That woman was just living her life. She had a cane. She had some kind of a bone issue in her life, like it was a deficiency or something. And it's wild to think that just she was out existing, living a life, and then hundreds of years later she's got dug up and put in a box on display, because then once you've done with the Dark Ride, you get to the actual museum and you get to see all the artefacts and the little things that they've found in their archaeological dig. And this lady's body is one of the two bodies that they did find. They found a man who was older, and they found a woman who used a cane. And I just think it's really cool how, doing your research and the technology that we now have, you can imagine and bring that person back from the dead, essentially, really, because everyone is now going to see this woman and know this woman's face. But this woman lived hundreds of years ago, which I thought was insane. And then I got them to make me a penny. Obviously, you walk around and there's Vikings everywhere. They make it very clear to talk to them, ask them questions, whatever, Gotham Dag and all that, greet them how you would. And I was like, you know what? £3 for a coin? I would like a little memento. I would like a Viking coin. So they have a little demonstration where they show you how they made being the Viking coins back in the day with the stamps and the moulds and all that. And the mould that you had used was based off of an actual coin they found. So that's really cool. I just think that's cool that they found that little bit of history and were like, we can remake this, we can make this something that's so unique that you can just take as a little memento with you. So I now have my little Viking coin on my shelf, because why wouldn't I? It's my Jorvik Viking coin. Gift shop, always recommend the gift shop. We walked out of there with 2 horrible histories books. Deep cut.
One for the whole of England and one specifically for York. We didn't know that they did books specifically for certain cities. Have started reading it. It is great.
I may have read that.
It's a lot. It's
horrible history.
It's a really good book.
Back when I was a child.
If you want to borrow it at any point, let me know, because it is fun. Horrible Histories is great though. It's just a good laugh, isn't it, really?
I will say, like I mentioned, I used to go to York a lot as a child, possibly twice or at least once a year.
Yeah.
10 years, every time I demanded to go to
Jorvik Viking Museum.
The Jorvik Viking Museum, to the point where the only person that would go with me was my mum, because the rest of my family was sick of it. Yeah, I loved it. I used to love it.
And then, after the Jorvik Viking Museum, because we didn't finish on that day, we'd already done going around the Minster and taking all these pictures and having breakfast and then going to the art gallery, and then we were like, let's go to Jorvik. And then we went to the Castle Museum. Now, do you remember the Castle Museum?
No, not so bad.
The Castle Museum is a very interesting museum that's basically split into 2 parts. And as you go into it, there's separate rooms. So you go in, upstairs there's like rooms where it's like a Victorian ladies' parlour, and then it's an Edwardian kitchen, and then it's this and that, and it's like all these cool little rooms. But that's not even the fun bit. The best bit is when you go down the stairs and you are in a recreated Victorian street.
I mean, I must have been.
It's got haberdasheries, it's got taxidermists, it's an old school Victorian street that you can walk through and explore and take pictures and just have a laugh. There was a guy at the sweet shop. If you wanted, you could go get some Victorian sweets, but you did have to pay, so we didn't get Victorian sweets. Walking through the street, taking all the pictures, it was fascinating. And as a little Victorian nerd, I was obsessed. I was like, I have been here before. I didn't realise I'd been there until we were there, because my brain went,
I recognise
this place.
Some mischief is afoot.
I don't think I have been here, but it's so familiar. And then afterwards, when I got back from York and I met my mum for coffee, she was like, I used to love the Castle Museum. So I definitely did go to the Castle Museum when I was younger, because she would have taken me there.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise until I was there. And then on the other side of the museum, so you have the Victorian kind of side, and on the other side it's the war part. So it's about the First World War, Second World War, then weirdly goes into the 60s at some point. The Second World War thing has like little tunnels you can crawl through to like imagine you're in the trenches and things. And then at the bottom of the Castle Museum, because obviously it was once a castle, not always been a museum, it was once a castle, there's the dungeon. And the dungeon is really cool because that's where people were kept. So we actually got to go into the jail cell that did have Dick Turpin.
I definitely remember the dungeon.
Yes. And now, the dungeons are a lot better than when I was younger, because I just remember them being creepy. But now when you go into the separate cells, before you go in, there's like a little thing above the cell saying who cell it belonged to. You go in and there's a little projection of the person talking about why they're there or what they've done. And it was just really interesting to see kind of how rough the justice system was back then, because it was harsh. It was not kind. You were in squalor. There was one cell where it was quite a bit suffocating, to be fair, and
the vibe
was just completely off. You know, when you do just walk into... Because I don't believe in ghosts. I don't. But sometimes I've walked into a spot and it's like I can't ignore the feeling that I'm feeling. There was a certain cell that was so small, and you walked in and it played like this coughing over... Which didn't help, obviously. Coughing over the speaker. And it kind of went dark, and this luminous paint that you couldn't see before kind of lit up. And basically like 10 people had died in that cell because they'd suffocated overnight because of the lack of oxygen, because there was just that many people in such a small space.
That's crazy.
And died.
Wow.
Which is wild when you think about it. So it does make sense that one spot felt so off, but it was interesting. And then to top off our trip, we decided, I had come up with the plan of doing a haunted ghost pub crawl.
Okay, yeah.
Because obviously, me being me, fiancé being fiancé, let's go on a pub crawl. So that's what we did. We went around all of York and we went into a lot of pubs and we had a drink. Started with the Bootham Tavern. That was once haunted, apparently by a guy in a polo shirt and shorts. Not an old haunting.
I was going to say a very
more recent haunting. We then went to the Old Star Inn, which was...
Is it spelled old? Yep, old with an E. Classic.
But it's just the Old Star Inn. You go down this little alleyway. It's quite hidden away. It's probably one of the oldest pubs in York, I believe. It's meant to be haunted by a lady and a couple of cats, actually. So there's meant to be, in the bar when you walk in, because obviously it's all very old, it's all very, an old British pub, I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
Like a Tudor-style, medieval-style pub. Walk in, and there is a column in the middle that's just kind of there. Apparently, the bodies of those cats are in that column.
That's messed up.
And that's why they haunt the place.
That's weird.
That's what I thought.
You would know if a cat was haunting a place because nothing would ever be on the counters.
Yes. So then we decided to go just across from the Old Star. There's the Punch Bowl, and the Punch Bowl is a haunted pub as well. So, the Punch Bowl has been a public house in York since the 1600s and boasts an array of ghost stories. There are 3 ghosts at the Punch Bowl. Isabella was a barmaid at the Punch Bowl during the 17th century when it was allegedly a brothel. She was reportedly beaten to death after refusing a patron's advances. Her ghost can still be seen and heard screaming and running down the stairs, room to room, trying to escape. Another ghost is that of a former landlord who was killed in a fire. He is often seen walking the route of the old cellar steps down to where he was tragically burned to death. And then, third ghost is a grey lady who is believed to have committed suicide after her lover cheated on her. She is said to roam the pub looking for unfaithful men. That was the Punch Bowl. That was a very good pub. We got chatting to a couple of people that were also on a little excursion to York, and we were explaining how we were doing a little ghost walk, and that just brought up loads of fun conversations. So
Nice.
I will say, people in York are very, very friendly. They can't walk, but they're friendly. So if you ever are curious about going somewhere and you are worried about asking questions, don't be. We were just chatting to people, and they were all very, very nice. We then ended up ending the night in the Roman Bath. No, not Roman Bath. We went to the Roman Bath. Another pub, another haunted pub. Actually, underneath it, there are Roman baths.
I figured Roman baths would be involved somewhere.
That they'd uncovered. So down there's ghosts in the bath. And then we finished the night on, where is it?
I mean, they could just say, oh yeah, this place is haunted. I'd be like, oh, well, I guess.
The Golden Fleece.
Oh.
Which is known as the UK's most haunted pub.
Oh, I feel like we've
spoken about that
before.
Yep. So, Golden Fleece, there's a sign outside that reads this. I will read it to you. These are the oldest and most haunted licensed premises in York, mentioned in the city archives as far back as 1503. This historic wooden framed building is without foundations, which would explain our crooked staircases and odd nooks and crannies. Belonging to the aptly named by the merchant adventurers who were responsible for the burgeoning 14th century woolen trade on the River Ouse. The premises have also been owned by Sir John Persson, Lord Mayor of York. In 1702, the Lady Peckett is still frequently seen. So the Lady Peckett is the ghost that haunts the Golden Fleece. So she was the wife of one of the gentlemen that used to own the pub. She can be seen going up and down the stairs in the Golden Fleece and is known to be a little bit of a nuisance in the Golden Fleece. And that's the outside of the Golden Fleece, and it says very proudly at the bottom, England's most haunted pub.
Oh.
And it is a vibe in there, to be fair.
Put that on the Instagram.
It's very, very creepy. I can put that on the Instagram. It's a very, very creepy pub. I don't know how else to describe it. You walk in and it does feel like... It feels great.
The vibe, yeah.
Yeah, the vibe is nothing but party because all the people in there are so great. But the building itself, I don't know how to describe it. It is a little bit spooky.
But then do you think it's spooky because you know it?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe that's why it's spooky. I mean, maybe that and all the death masks on the wall.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Because when you walk down the corridor to go into the back room, it's a very narrow corridor. Obviously, the stairs are up there that you see that she'd usually walk up. Along the corridor, plaster casts of death masks of different people.
Horrendous.
It's a very, very creepy pub. But it's a great pub, and I would recommend every single pub we went in. Everyone was friendly. The drinks were all decent priced.
York is a really lovely place.
York is a lovely place. I mean, by the end of the night, we were all very, very, well, me and my fiancé, a little bit merry with the haunted booze. And we went back and we had a sleep, and that was it. Honestly, great time. If you're looking for somewhere to go and you are kind of not far away from the north of England, definitely recommend going to York, especially when it's spooky month, because it has that extra pizzazz, that extra spookums. It was so good. I could talk about it all day.
There are two things that have kind of been covered in this that I just think is really interesting about England. Is one, in all the old places such as like York and Stratford, about 50% of the buildings will say old, like ye old, except it will be YEOLDE.
Yep.
Pub.
But it's not said that way. It's still said the old pub.
Yeah.
But it's spelt ye.
Yeah, you do ye old, or if you're really northern, you go ye oldie.
Ye oldie pub there.
And that's just great because it is like really notable in Stratford and it's really notable in York as two of the main ones, I'd say, where they will always say ye old anything, ye old sweet shop,
ye old Stars They're in,
ye old Smith's Toys at this point, and then
ye old Mackers.
Yeah, exactly. And then another really notable thing in England is that obviously we've got museums and we've got art exhibitions, but there's also like Starbucks and random shops in really old buildings.
So, we'll too quickly speak about this. I'd forgotten about this. So obviously on the Saturday morning, I'm there, tired. There's no nice coffee in the hotel, because obviously hotel.
Yeah.
Let's go find a coffee. Let's go find a Starbucks. Found a Starbucks, walked into the Starbucks. This is the fanciest old building I have ever been in my life. We're on about like proper moulded ceilings and big columns and beautiful windows, high ceilings. I was like, what the hell was this before? It wasn't until the second day visit that I walked up to the Starbucks for the second time and was like, let's go to the fancy Starbucks, and I saw a big carving outside in the stone saying bank. So at one point it was a bank. Yeah, that's why it was so fancy. It's
crazy.
But it's like, you literally feel like you're in this old school movie in this Starbucks just having a coffee. Yeah, we had a mince, we had an explore, and it was very chill, as it usually is with me and my fiancé, because he's very laid back, I'm very but put us together, we kind of just mince along, and it was just a great time. Great
Nice.
time, lovely time. 100% recommend. People should go to York. Go to the haunted pubs. Do it. Go see the ghosties.
Go learn some history. Go learn some fun, interesting things. Go look at old buildings.
There's so much history, and
Take some shoes that can withstand cobblestones.
Yes, 100%. Take some comfy shoes because cobblestones are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's one of them. Go, have fun, have a meander, go learn some stuff. I can go back there again next month, and there'll be a lot of other stuff that I need to do, because there was a lot of stuff we missed. Even though we had a packed weekend, there's still so many museums and houses and things that you can be there for a while.
There's a lot in York.
There's a lot in York, yeah. Especially when it comes to a bit further out as well, but we're just talking about exclusively the centre of the city. Definitely worth a go. Definitely go and learn some things. See if you can find some ghosts. Go on the ghost walk. Go on the ghost bus. Go see the ghosts. York is a city of ghosts.
Well, maybe not see the ghosts.
All right, well, go try and find them. Go try and find them. Go try and feel them. Embrace the ghost experience.
Yeah.
100%. Because a lot of the places, you do get a vibe. As someone that's susceptible to the vibe but doesn't necessarily believe in it, there is a vibe in some of the places. And it's worth going. It's worth experiencing. I can't describe it any other better way. Well,
that's been the episode.
We
talked about York.
We did.
Talked about Shannon's little Yorkie trip.
We did. We talked about my little Yorkie trip, which at
not
this
to
point...
do with the chocolate. I've been Luke. That's been Shannon.
I've been Shannon.
This has been Dude You Good, a podcast where two lady friends talk about stuff, particularly a trip to York.
Bye.
Check out caffeineoutminds.co.uk for the website and all that stuff. We've got interviews on there. We're going to have more bonus content coming up. We've got like little blog entries and stuff. There's a newsletter you can subscribe to for all updates. Check out the Instagram, Caffeine Out of Minds on Instagram for Shannon's pictures of York and other projects and stuff. And the well dressing,
The well dressing video's finally
If
up.
you listen to our previous episode about well dressings and
That
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.